Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PreStream podcast. I'm really sorry for those watching live for the incredibly delayed start. We had massive technical issues this morning. There is absolutely no guarantee that they will not happen again. They appear to have to do with my internet. They have nothing to do with anything on my side that I can fix. Apparently, there were some issues with my internet this morning causing problems. So, for like a half an hour, we were waiting and seeing if it would clear up, and it didn't. So, it forced me to basically do a bunch of stuff like restart my modem and the like. Now it looks like it's working better, but there's no guarantee that that's the case and that we won't have the issues again. If they are ongoing issues and you notice that the stream is chopping up, you notice that the stream is freezing, the stream stops dead and says, oh, offline, it's probably not true. Okay, you wait a minute, it'll come back, or refresh manually, it should come back. Apologies for that. I don't know what else I could possibly do because, like I said, it doesn't seem to be any issue on my end. It's definitely something in the lines today. If it keeps going on all day and we can't get a consistently good stream, I'll have to contact my internet provider. For now, I'm hoping that's not the case, and I'm hoping that we will have a smooth stream today. All right, now, I'm coming back from break. Today is actually Wednesday, the 13th of April, 2022. This is the beginning of a brand new full streaming week. Once again, 6 straight days of full-time streaming for me. All kinds of fun stuff going on. Incidentally, today is one of the biggest podcasts that I had to do because I have a ton of news to talk about. I'm not kidding. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different stories to talk about. And of course, today's the day when the podcast loses a half an hour because of technical difficulties. It just figures, right? So, allow me to basically summarize a few quick things, okay? So that we can get into this stuff that everyone wants to hear about. You want to hear about my day off? You want to talk about the news stories, right? Here's the schedule for the week. Today, it's the continuation of LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, which I'm very excited for. We're going to finish Empire Strikes Back and head into the Return of the Jedi. Later tonight, it's Kirby and the Forgotten Land, late night streaming, 2 hours of chill, fun, post-game content, and if you didn't see it last time, it's super challenging now. The game actually has monstrously ramped up the level of challenge to the point where it's like, wow, it's really crazy over-the-top challenging, but it's fun. I like that. The bosses are tougher, the puzzles are tougher, everything's tougher, but it's actually neat. A lot of people complained that the playthrough was too easy up to this point. It's the complete polar opposite now. So check that out, 6:45 p.m. Pacific time later tonight, okay? Tomorrow, we swing back to Elden Ring. Last stream, I beat a tough boss, which everyone says is easy, and it was hard for me. Then again, I seem to have a tendency to have a hard time with easy stuff and an easy time with harder stuff. Go figure. Got a great weapon, a boss weapon. I'm using that boss weapon now with a shield and sword build that I have not used the entirety of the game until now. And I'm heading into the later / end game areas of the game. So it's going to be fun to jump into Elden Ring tomorrow. It really will be. I hope you guys will join me for that. And then tomorrow night, Skyrim, after hours, late night stream of Skyrim as we continue on with the Dark Brotherhood quest line. The plan for this week is to alternate between LEGO and Elden Ring every day on the main stream. The late streams will be alternation between Kirby, Skyrim. Friday night will be Friday Night Fights, Street Fighter. And this time around, we're going to attempt to play it on the Xbox to avoid the issues we had last week with tons of issues. Couldn't get consistent connections, dropping, crashing. It was a nightmare. I hope we can avoid that this week by playing on the Xbox. Okay? So that's going to be Friday night. So like I said, daytime, alternating between LEGO and Elden Ring. Nighttime, Kirby, Skyrim, Street Fighter, Kirby, Skyrim, in that kind of rotation. Now, once we beat Kirby, because I think it's going to be probably 2 more streams, and then we're going to finish up Kirby in the Forgotten Land, we're bringing new stuff into the rotation. Likely what we're going to do is take a look at Xbox Game Pass and pick some games off of there that I've already started and start continuing on with them as ongoing playthroughs, but they will not be every stream. And what I mean by that is in 1 week's time, you may see I Am Fish one night, Serious Sam 4 another night, right? And you kind of alternate. So every week you see a few different games off of Game Pass. You get a little bit more progress, but we'll consistently still be playing Skyrim. You see? I think that makes sense. It makes nice, chill gaming. All right? I hope that you guys will join me for that in the weeks moving forward. Okay? Awesome. Sound good? I hope so. Are there new releases this month? In particular, not really. Once we beat either Elden Ring or LEGO, we're then going to bring in other games to replace them, like WWE 2K22, and then we'll look at other stuff to figure out what exactly we want to do, okay? All right, guys, I'm going to say this once. For those of you who are literally sitting in the stream chat derailing the chat, I'm just going to start banning all of you. We already had a late start People are here to watch the PreStream podcast. They don't want to hear you talking about, oh, did someone get timed out? Did someone get banned? What did he do? What did he do? How about this? Ready? You ready for this? Here's how we're going to handle this. Ready? You're banned. Okay? You're banned. Ready? Let's get some more. Who's left? Who else here? Because there's 3 or 4 people doing it, and anytime I see it from now on, it's done. I'm not going to put up with any of your bullshit discussions about people getting timed out and banned, how you're upset about it. Fuck you, get out. I want to have a PreStream. I don't want to fucking bother with your bullshit. It's so distracting. I'm like, oh, cool, I'm talking about the schedule. I wonder how people think. I look in here and, oh, Clyde got timed out and banned. I wonder what happened with him. Oh, is he coming back? Oh, we miss him. Fuck off. Get out of my stream. So go ahead, keep doing it and just get banned. I don't care. I'm not going to say a word about it anymore. I'm just going to go bye, 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 and get rid of these idiots. Okay? Okay. So that's the schedule for the week. I hope it sounds good. I hope my fucking internet holds out this week, so we can actually do that over the course of this week. I will draw your attention to the members goal. We have gone up a bit. We actually have increased in total members, which is awesome. Okay? I hope that we can keep that going. We still got about 2.5 weeks left in the month of April. We need to rally by the end of the month to hit this goal, but I hope we can hit the goal. All right, if we hit the goal, remember, I'm going to be doing the Down the Rabbit Hole reaction stream and video. It's going to be really special, something I've never done before, and a lot of people want to see it, so I hope we can hit it, okay? Also, I want to say special thanks to those of you who came out in droves and supported my streams on Monday. As I told you guys, sadly, because of a lot of slander and bullshit against me over the weekend, contributions had slowed down to a crawl. You know, I had a really good birthday marathon, and then literally everything slows down over the weekend because there's all this bullshit. Oh, Phil made thousands of dollars on his birthday, and now he doesn't need any support anymore, blah, blah, blah. So now here I am sitting in a situation, I'm like, wow, I had 3 straight incredibly slow days for support on my streams, which never happens. Every once in a while, I'll get 1 or 2. 3 in a row is like unprecedented. And I knew exactly what was going on. So I talked about it on Monday. You guys came out in droves and supported the streams on Monday. Because of that, I was able to actually have a really nice day off with Kat yesterday, and I'm going to tell you about it today because I want you to know what your direct contributions to my streams helped me do. You know, I actually ended up going from a day that I was really worried and concerned and stressed out to a day where we were able to go out and have a nice meal together and do some fun stuff, and I want to share that with you to let you know how much it means to us. Okay? Cool. All right, so we're going to talk about that in a moment with the Phil's Day Off segment, but I just want to say thank you. And again, guys, remember, I'm a crowd-funded individual. My income is your support of the streams, period. The only other income I get is basically ad revenue on YouTube, which is all over the place. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Right now, I can tell you I'm making way less than usual because I can't monetize the Lego Star Wars playthrough. All those videos are getting claimed for the John Williams score. So right now, ad revenue is almost, you know, an afterthought. It's a non-existent thing. But thank you guys so very much who come to the streams every day and support it in any way, whether it be a membership, a super chat, a super sticker, a tip. Remember, we have those tip rewards in effect. $50, I put on the Gunner glasses. If you raise $100, you pick a hat for me to wear. At $150, you pick a vest for me to wear. It would be great to hit some of those goals on my first day back from break. That would be outstanding to have some goals hit today with the tips, okay? All right. Now, let's get into the segments I need to talk about because we're so late. The first segment is called Phil's Day Off. So, yesterday it was a little hectic because originally my wife and I had planned to do one thing because we thought we were going to have no money at all. We thought it was going to be like a dead day where we can't even like eat out or anything. And then because you guys rallied on Monday and helped us out, our whole day changed, okay? So, we did a lot yesterday, all right? Don't get me wrong, a lot crammed into one day. Some relaxation, some fun, but a lot of stuff out. We had an appointment we had to get to in the late afternoon. And so what we had to do was try to base everything during the day around that. Excuse me. So, you know, in the morning we ate. Before we left, we ate at home. And my wife was getting ready, got ready. And we went out together and actually did grocery shopping together, which we almost never do anymore. It's funny because before COVID, we used to do, here was our schedule for our day out before COVID. Basically, we would wake up, get ready to go out, get some food, have our day out of whatever we needed to do, run errands, shopping, appointments, etc. Usually have like a dinner, and then on the way home, stop at the grocery store, buy the groceries together, and then come home and unpack everything at night. And that's how we ended our night, was unpacking groceries and everything, and then relaxing after. But ever since basically COVID happened, that whole thing got flipped on its head when COVID started 2 years ago. You had to go to the grocery store at, like, no exaggeration, between 8 and 9 in the morning if you wanted to buy anything like a commodity, like toilet paper or stuff. If you didn't go that early, everything was sold out because of the hoarders, the people who went there and hoarded like idiots, okay? So 2 years ago, I basically started doing this this practice where I would actually go grocery shopping like early in the morning. And so Kat would basically wake up and she would start getting ready for the day, like take a shower and put on her makeup and everything. While I went out and grocery shopping, I would bring the groceries home and together we would put them away, and then we would go out and have our day together. So our schedule for 2 years has been dramatically shifted because of COVID. All right, now it's weird because everything's back to normal. I'll be honest, everything here is back to normal. There's no restrictions on anything. You can do whatever you want. There's no more hoarding, and idiots aren't mass buying stuff at the stores anymore. So our schedule can basically be however we want it to be. So, like I said, we woke up at 8, and then she got ready, and then we went out together, and we did grocery shopping first, okay? Came home, unpacked, you know, I chopped up some of the veggies, got them ready, washed up a bit, and he said, okay, let's head out. So we had to go to the dump, and thank goodness I could afford to do it because we had a bunch of trash basically built up in our garage. Went to the dump, dumped a bunch of trash, have to pay for it here in Washington State. It's not free. You would think, oh, the dump's free, just dump stuff. Nope, we got to pay for it here. That's how they are here. They're ultra green. So after the dump, we went and ran some errands. One of the things we had to do is go to the pet store, buy some food and treats for Jasper, and saw a lot of cute animals at the pet store this week. There was a lot of cute hamsters. They actually have a adoption center at our local pet store for cats, and there was like 3 different cats in there that were all super cute. One of them, we were so sad. So it's in there, and it's like, this cat was rescued from an abusive home where the owner was an incredibly irresponsible pet hoarder. And so when they raided this home, after a bunch of tips came in about it, they found something like 50 cats in the house. And the cats were all not cared for, not properly fed, had never been to the vet. This particular cat was 5 years old and had no teeth. Because the cat's teeth had rotted out completely. The owner didn't care. He just left it there with no teeth. So said, if you rescue this cat, you have to only feed it like wet, chunky food. You can't ever feed it dry food because you can't chew. I'm like, wow, the cat was the best cat ever. It was super loving, wanted to be pet, was purring constantly. I'm like, man, people in this world are fucked. Like, seriously. They're out of their mind. They're so fucked up, right? They would do that to animals. Like, what is wrong? And, of course, that person's nuts. It's not a normal person that does that. Someone's nuts. And it was weird because you basically, you think about it and you're like, when you think about pets, and adopting a pet or even buying a pet, there's no restrictions. They pretend like there are, but there's no restrictions on it. Anyone could just take in any animal off the street. Anyone could go to a pet store and get an animal and adopt it. Yes, there's stupid paperwork. I'll give you an example. There was one time I was at PetSmart. I'm trying to remember because we have 2 local pet stores. It was a PetSmart, okay? I'm in line to buy pet supplies. There's a guy in front of me in line. He's adopting a bunch of small pets. Okay, like little animals. I don't know what they were because they were in their boxes. He's standing in line. He's at the register. He's sweating profusely. Now, it's not a hot day. It's winter. The guy is standing there. Pools of sweat are coming off his body. His entire body is soaked in sweat. Okay? It's obvious this man is not healthy. It looks like this guy could have a heart attack at any moment. All right? And he's adopting 3 or 4 small animals all in their little boxes lined up. Now, when you get a pet at a pet store, what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to have paperwork that you fill out with your name, address, and they're supposed to register that paperwork to know that you have that pet or whatever. But if anything, no one tracks anything. The guy literally never filled out the paperwork. The clerk kept asking him, or the register person, fill this out, and he just basically went, scribbled, never filled any real information out, and left the store with all the pets. No one checked anything, nothing. You know? So it's like, number one, the guy looks like he's going to die any second anyway. Should he really be adopting pets? And number two, there's no checks on anything. You know, they all pretend like they're... What's to stop someone from literally giving you all fake info when they get a pet? Right? Do you think they're doing a background check on you when you adopt a pet? So you have these houses full of 50 pets. It's like, Jesus, man, these people are fucked up in the head. They think they're going to do this, and then they abuse the pets. They don't take care of the pets. And you have these horror stories of, you know, fucking rescue people have to come in, put the person in a nut house, and take all the pets out. Certainly, I'm not saying we need a background check for certain animals or whatever. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, doesn't it seem like there's zero protections in place for anything when it comes to pets? Like, it's ridiculous in my opinion. So anyway, we saw some pets. It was cute. We did our stuff that we needed to do. We had our appointment. We did our appointment. And then after that, we actually had a nice dinner. We went to a restaurant that does a lot of things like almost like how can I say? Tropical food, Caribbean style. Like, I got a jerk chicken dinner that was also made with pineapples and peppers and this special sauce. And my wife got a plantain dinner that was like beef with corn and all kinds of ingredients, black beans around it. It was absolutely outstanding. And we were very happy because, as I told you guys, we did not get to celebrate our anniversary at all. We were both working. We forgot our anniversary this year. So it was nice to be able to actually go out and have a nice dinner together. We enjoyed it very much. I want to say again, thank you, because we really would have been sitting at home eating the cheapest possible thing. We had no money. And because you guys helped us out on Monday, we really appreciate that. We were actually able to go out and have a nice dinner together. And that was really nice of you guys to kind of help us out then, because it was a rough week. It was like, great birthday stream, raised way more than usual. And then 3 straight days were slow as shit because people were like, he doesn't need nothing because he made like thousands of dollars on his birthday stream. Completely false, by the way. Never happened. People just making shit up. And everyone on the internet is gullible and believes it. And the next thing you know, here we are on Monday, I'm like, wow, I literally don't have enough money to like go grocery shopping, pet store, and have a dinner. I just don't have enough. But normally over the weekend, it's not an issue at all, So anyway, thank you guys so much for that. I really appreciate that. So we ended up having a pretty good day out when we came back from dinner. We had a good day, relaxing basically. We ended up watching someone else playing Elden Ring. This person is still early on in the game, but this person was actually using a dex build, which is interesting to see some early game weapons like the Uchigatana with its bleed build up, as well as when you get that Roger's Rapier +8 from talking to Roger at the round table hold. It's actually a really good early game weapon. It was really good. So yeah, it was very entertaining, and we had a good relaxing night together. Not Above Average says, why don't you do bulk buys at Costco? We used to. I used to have a Costco membership, and we would go there and we would buy the expensive stuff in bulk. That ended during COVID, because during COVID, they had nothing. You had to wait in line to get into fucking Costco. When you did, they were out of everything. And since then, we haven't been able to go back. We just don't have no money. Like, think about it. If I go to Costco right now, I got to pay for the membership, which is what, $50? Right up front, I got to pay $50 before I can buy anything in the store. And I don't have the money to buy stuff in there. I just don't. I have barely enough each week to pay for basic grocery bill and whatever supplies we need. And if we have anything else we have to pay for, and, that's it. I don't have enough. Maybe one day I'll have a surplus, and I'll be able to go and say, okay, I can go back to Costco. I can't right now. I've wanted to go back for like a year, and I can't. It's that simple. Carrie says, can't officials check on the safety of pets, or is that not allowed in the U.S.? To my knowledge, the only way that things can be checked on is if there's like a mass reporting of like, we have distinct evidence that there is animal abuse or like hoarding of, in this case, hoarding of animals. Probably someone said, yeah, there's animals in the window all day. I see constant animals in the house. The house smells of animal feces or whatever. And likely what happens is then officials would check with neighbors and others to see if it's corroborated. And if so, then they would visit the house. Personally, do I think that they have rights to go into your house? I don't think they do. But I don't know what that would be, you've heard rumors. Who was it? The Twitch streamer who threw her cat, and then everyone mass reported her and said, dude, she threw her cat on stream. That should be investigated. And apparently there really was an investigation where officials showed up to make sure that that person wasn't abusing their animal, right? Which should happen. So, there you go. Okay. So that was our day out. Nothing super special to talk about, but I figured I would just talk about it quick because you guys deserve to know. Now, let us get to the news. We have a ton of news to talk about on today's PreStream podcast, okay? Number 1, rest in peace to Gilbert Gottfried. This one actually shocked me because I don't think anyone actually knew that Gilbert was sick. But maybe, then again, I haven't really heard much about Gilbert Gottfried in many, many years. So it's very possible that he did get sick and no one really knew. So for those who don't know, Gilbert Gottfried passed away yesterday. He is a comic from the 80s and 90s. And He was most iconically known for his distinct voice. He had many characters he voiced over the years, including Iago the parrot in the Aladdin movies. Excuse me. For a while, he was the voice of the Aflac duck in the Aflac insurance commercials. He also was a very popular comedic actor in the 90s for movies like Problem Child 1 and 2. Personally, I knew about him because I used to watch Comedy Central all the time, and he'd always show up on specials and things. He'd be on a roast on Comedy Central. He'd have a special or be part of a special on Comedy Central. His type of comedy was unique because he had two kinds of comedy. Raunchy, which I think a lot of stand-up comics do, but you don't know because you don't see about a lot of that on TV because it's kind of like adult-oriented stuff, but he did a lot of raunchy kind of comedy. But also, he was like, how can I say, like, he was really good at doing the insult, jab at you kind of comedy. So they always had him on roasts because they felt like he was one of the best roasters out there. And sadly, I hate to say it, it's a big loss, even though you don't hear about this guy for a long time. He really was someone who was influential in comedy in a big way. Everyone who ever met the guy said he was the nicest guy ever, even though his comedy was kind of like insulting and raunchy. They said when you actually talk to the real guy, he's the nicest guy ever. He's one of those cases where the personality that comes through in his work is not him. It's the opposite of who he really is. He's playing the character for his work. Okay? And it's sad. It's sad because, out of nowhere, a loss like that, right? Kind of the same as Bob Saget. No one was expecting that Bob Saget, we were going to lose him. We had no idea that the guy had any issues. The next thing you know, apparently he had concussion and didn't know about it, went to sleep and died in sleep. It's like, geez, terrible, right? So if you don't know Gilbert Gottfried, I recommend that you take a few minutes on the internet today, take a look at some of his funniest moments. His Problem Child performances are actually quite funny. Yeah, he was a pretty unique guy. His unique voice, my God, can anyone ever emulate that voice? I don't know, but it's a loss, man. It's a loss, and I don't know what actually happened. Sucks. No one will know because his family didn't disclose what was going on. They just said he was battling an illness, and no one knew besides the family. So, rest in peace to Gilbert. Okay, now heading into a ton of gaming news. Get ready for this because we've got a ridiculous amount. Okay. Okay, number one, Bug Snacks. Holy shit, remember Bug Snacks? The game that was a launch title for PS5 that no one expected to be good and it actually was way better than it really deserved to be. It was a combination of cutesy fun, puzzle solving, and horror. Yeah, Bug Snacks has a big announcement. Number one, it is coming to every other platform on April 28th, including Xbox and the Switch. And if you have Xbox Game Pass, it's on Game Pass. So it's a no-brainer. For those who haven't checked it out yet, especially if you have an Xbox, you should absolutely positively check out Bug Snacks. Okay, it's a great game. I strongly recommend it. It's cutesy, it's fun, and then at the end, you get thrown for a loop, your jaw drops, and you shit your pants with the way that the plot goes. You'll never expect it. Okay, that's number one. Number two, it's getting a free expansion. It's a short expansion. It's only about 3 hours long. What it is, there's going to be a new place called the Isle of Bug Snacks. I guess it's its own separate area in the game where you're going to be interacting and catching giant bug snacks. Like, everything there's supposed to be humongous. Okay? So, that's interesting. And, I'm curious to see, how it pans out. Will I be checking it out on April 28th? I don't know if I'll be checking it out exactly on April 28th, but I'm definitely interested in returning to the world of Bug Snacks for a stream just to see what the new stuff is. I haven't played it in so long. Likely, I don't know if I would even beat it all in one stream, considering they're saying it's 3 hours, but that's probably 3 hours if you know what you're doing. And quite frankly, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'll be a year and a half since I played it. So, I guess we'll see. But yes, I'm absolutely interested in revisiting Bug Snacks later this month. Okay? Alright, the next news story is in regards to the development of Witcher 3. Witcher 3? Game's ancient, right? Well, Witcher 3 currently has a new edition being developed for current-gen consoles, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series S and X, and it's been in development and it's supposed to come out in quarter 2 of 2022. Quarter 2. We're in quarter 2. So it's supposed to come out, now. Well, CD Projekt Red has put out a news story. Alright? And the news story is as follows. Are you ready? Listen to this. Witcher 3 is delayed. CD Projekt Red delaying a game? Not living up to the promises and expectations that they gave the common customer? What do you mean? I never would have expected it. Okay. But in all seriousness, here's the real news story. Okay? Apparently the reason for the delay is because CD Projekt Red made the executive decision internally to spin the development of Witcher 3, current gen, back to CD Projekt Red. In-house development. You know, you say, what does that mean? They were outsourcing it. Like, with this announcement, they're literally admitting that they were paying another company to basically port the game. And I guess they're not too happy with the progress the company has made. I guess the company had made promises to them about it will be done Q2, and it's not now. And I guess they're pretty upset about it. So they said, well, they looked at their own situation, and they said, I guess we have enough resources and manpower to do it ourselves, so we're going to do it ourselves. So they're taking ownership of the project back. Only problem is, it sounds like they're starting from scratch. Like, if you have a company that's doing the work and they're doing a terrible job and you're taking it back, doesn't it sound like you're, like, starting over? So does that mean it could be ages until this game comes out? Maybe. It could be another 2 years before we get a PS5 and Xbox Series X version of Witcher 3. People had actually asked me, would I play this version of Witcher 3 since it's been a while since I played Witcher 3, release. And I said I'd consider it. So I guess we'll have to see whenever it comes out. If it comes out another couple of years, right? I guess we'll find out. All right, hold on. I'm going to open the window now because the landscapers were coming by and were being loud, and now they're gone, so I can open it again. Get some fresh air. Okay. Please forgive me as I go turbo mode through all of these stories because we started the PreStream podcast so late today. Okay. Okay, here's an interesting story. Oddworld Soulstorm. Does that name ring a bell for anyone? Oddworld Soulstorm? Well, in case you're not aware, last year there was a new Oddworld game released for new-gen consoles, PlayStation 5, notably, called Oddworld Soulstorm. It was the next game in the Oddworld series. Oddworld back in the 90s and early 2000s was actually quite popular and caught on, and every once in a while they come out with a new game, and it continues the franchise. So this game came out last year, but interestingly enough, okay, it was a new release that was day one on PlayStation Plus. Meaning if you were a PlayStation Plus subscriber, it was free. You didn't have to pay for it at all. And a lot of people were confused about that, saying, wait, isn't this a new game? Typically, games on PS Plus are older games or games that have been out for a few months that need some additional attention. Why on earth would this game have been on PlayStation Plus day one? It's a little confusing. Well, here's the story, because the story came out today. The head guy in charge of the studio of Oddworld basically was in an interview and said the following. So here's the deal. The game was in development hell. They had basically run out of money and couldn't finish the game. They needed investment money from somewhere or they were not going to be able to finish it. So they turned to Sony and explained the situation. And Sony said, well, what we do is for games that are on PS Plus, we offer like a flat rate fee that we pay for it to be on PS Plus. So if you do this, and say your day can be day one on PS Plus, we'll give you money and you can use that money to finish the development of the game. Now, originally, this guy was saying what they were hoping was that when the game first launched, within the, let's say the first week, they were hoping to sell 50,000 to 100,000 copies outright. Like, people would pay for them. And then from there, they'd have more money to further develop the game and or tweak it. That's what they were hoping for. Because it was on PS Plus, okay, they basically made no money at all. They're basically like, yeah, it was unprecedented. They never expected 4 million downloads on PlayStation Plus. Now, why do you think that many people downloaded it? It's pretty simple. That was relatively early into the life cycle of the PlayStation 5. It came out in November, and if I remember correctly, wasn't it like spring of last year when this Oddworld game came out? So people were clamoring for games on PlayStation 5. And this was one that you were literally going to get for free because you had PS Plus, which everyone already had. So everyone just downloaded it. No one bought the game. So they made no money. They worked hard. They busted their asses to get this game done. They were running out of funds. They had an injection of money from Sony to get their game on PS Plus. They used the injection of money to finish the game, release the game, and absolutely no one bought it. It was a humongous sales flop. And the guy's actually kind of like, it's like he's not mad, but he's disappointed because he basically felt like it definitely should have sold, and it would have sold if it wasn't on PS Plus. But you know, it's kind of a double-edged sword. You want to finish your game, you need the money. You took the money, so you knew what was going to happen. I guess he didn't expect 4 million people to download it for free and no one buy it, you know? If anything, I guess the good news is that with 4 million downloads, it probably gave that franchise a lot of exposure. Like, I already knew what Oddworld was, but possibly a lot of people who owned a PS5 didn't. And maybe now they downloaded it, played it, they know what it is, so if they come out with another game, maybe then some people would buy it. But I understand, you know, who even knows if they're going to make another game. Right? I understand. I can understand this guy's frustration. So I guess it's part of the whole situation with getting things either on Game Pass or PS Plus, that it's kind of like there's positives and negatives to it. And in this case, apparently, it was a huge negative for the Oddworld developers. Yeah. Okay, continuing on. Ghost of Tsushima is officially getting a movie. We already knew that, but it finally has a writer. And the writer apparently is someone who's written some pretty good movies before. I didn't ever heard of either of them. But yeah, they're kind of interested. People are interested that he's going to write the script for the movie. And interestingly enough, the guy who plays Jin, the main character, tweeted out and he's like, gee, I hope that they contact me for this project. I'd really like to be involved somehow. Meaning the guy who's the main character of the game has not even been contacted by anyone making the movie yet to be involved in any way. Seems like a good sign, doesn't it? So when Ghost of Tsushima comes out, and it's set in the 1990s, and everyone's wearing like neon pants and and big giant slit sunglasses and have boom boxes on their shoulders. You know, a very accurate adaptation and representation of the game. When that comes out, don't be surprised when there's no involvement by anyone who actually made the game. So there you go. Unbelievable. Another fucking game movie that who even knows if it's going to end up being anything like the game, right? Alright. Maybe there'll be some Ninja Turtles in it. Maybe it'll actually be Ninja Turtles 4, because Ninja Turtles 3 was when the Turtles were warped through time to feudal Japan. So maybe now it'll be Ninja Turtles 4. The Ninja Turtles would interact with Jin from Ghost of Tsushima. There you go. That would be a great movie. I would watch that. Casey Jones beating up, what was his name? Something, Kublai Khan or whatever his name. Casey Jones is beating up the head of the Mongols with his hockey stick. Oh, take that. Yeah, and the Ninja Turtles like, yeah, dudes, have some pizza, motherfuckers. Slamming it into their fucking faces or whatever. Why not? Anyway, let's continue. Now I really got off the rails. This is an interesting one. Okay? So, I have talked about this in the past, and this is actually kind of pertinent because this is something that me and some of you actually got roped into and scammed a few years ago. Alright? So if you guys remember, there was one time when I was streaming on Twitch. I know, it was a long time ago. I don't really remember that much about it. But there was this one time that I was streaming on Twitch, and I was playing the latest Plants vs. Zombies game at launch. Okay? And I was doing an epic boss fight. If I remember correctly, it was against like a super zombie, or it was a super plant or a super zombie. I can't even remember. And we're having this epic boss fight. And as we're doing this, someone who supposedly was a representative of EA came into my chat and said, hey everyone, thanks Phil for playing our game and promoting it. We'd like to hand out these free codes to everyone so you can get a year of EA Play Access. I don't even know what it was. EA Access, EA Play, EA Playing Access. I don't even know what it was. But they handed out like dozens of codes to my viewers, including me. I got one too. So you get this for free. So what was it? Yeah, you get access to old EA games for like a year. It was nothing special, but it was nice for them to come in and say, hey, get a bunch of free memberships to our program. Okay? That was nice. And we all got it. We all, you know, unbeknownst to us, we're thinking this is just an innocent way for them to say thanks for playing and promoting our game. So it was me and dozens of other people on the stream entering the codes, and we said, oh, you get the free year of EA Play. Okay, great. Done. All right? A year later, no one remembers we even have this. In fact, I never used it. I literally never downloaded a single game on it. Okay? Never authorized any kind of payment, never bought anything through it, nothing. All right? A year after the free code was entered, it fucking billed all of us for a year of the service without asking, without any confirmation legally, without even asking for a payment method. It literally defaulted to whatever our default payment method was on like PlayStation Network and just took our money. Now, for those who don't know, all right, that's illegal. You can't rope someone into an ongoing agreement without them agreeing to the agreement. The code that we entered, we were told by the guy that day on stream, was a free code for a free year. It never said anything about an ongoing membership. It never said anything about renewal or auto renewal. And certainly we never authorized payment. But it took it. It was an absolute 100% scam. There was no fine print. There was no legal agreement that was signed. We entered the code. It just said, okay, you got it, done. Nothing else. It's 100% illegal what happened, okay? So this has been going on for a long time with these programs. Free trial or get a limited time discount, but then all of a sudden it auto renews without you ever expressly agreeing to this, okay, for an undisclosed rate. And sometimes it bills you without even asking, well, how you want to be billed. It's whatever's on file, okay? It's actually illegal, all right? It is 100%, all right? So there was a big investigation into this, and it was discovered that both Sony and Nintendo were guilty of this practice, that people were getting either promotional subscriptions to PlayStation Plus and the Nintendo Online program, or they were buying a discounted rate. They were only agreeing to that. And then the service was auto-renewing at an increased amount of money without permission, and people were getting billed behind the scenes. Some people didn't even know what was going on. They actually did this research. It was about a year's worth of investigation. And they were finding that an alarming amount of people were never even using the services. They were getting auto-billed for it and didn't even know they had it. So it was just sitting there stagnant, never touched, never used, yet people were actually having to pay for it behind the scenes. Pretty fucked up. So after this investigation, they went ahead and contacted Sony and Nintendo and said, listen, either you change or we're going to take legal action against you. And both Sony and Nintendo have now stepped up and said, we're going to change our programs. We're going to now have it so that, number one, you have express notification that any kind of a renewal is going to happen. In some cases, the renewal will not automatically happen. You'll have to somehow physically confirm you want it. In addition, they're going to actually start checking to see how many people are using it. And if you have an account that's, let's say, for example, for 6 months, you've never used a feature of PS Plus or you never used Nintendo Online, they will actually contact you behind the scenes and say, hey, we noticed you're not using it. Are you aware you're getting charged for it? Because obviously this is something that we don't want you to be paying for. That's unintended, and we don't want any bad feelings or whatever. So yeah, so basically a whole 180 on the entire situation and how it's going to go down. I'm pleased with that. Like I said, they're literally scams. These things are illegal. It's just that no one has ever sued these companies for them. So they've been getting away with these kind of programs for decades. And it's not right. You should not have, I bought a 3-month card for PlayStation Plus. So I enter it. After 3 months, they bill you a different rate than what you paid for the card on a fucking payment method you never approved, and they never told you they were going to do it. Like, what are you talking about? That's a whole legal contract you wrote me into that I never agreed to. That's completely illegal. So, this is good news. This is the first step towards transparency, clarity, and the end to these kind of roping in, auto-renewing bullshit scams. They shouldn't exist to begin with. And I'm happy to hear this. It was essentially a way for them to make free money. Oh, we just hope that no one ever notices and we just rope in the free dough. It's fucked up. Earn your dollars. Don't steal them. Trust me, Sony and Nintendo make enough money, they don't have to be stealing money from their customer base. Enough people buy shovelware shit from those companies that they don't deserve the money for. They don't deserve to be robbing their customer bases. Okay. All right, continuing on. I would actually say this is the biggest news story of today, and I'm not surprised to hear it, but I am upset. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, you may have heard in the last year that Activision Blizzard is in hot water. Activision Blizzard has been accused of tons of wrongdoing, notably against its employees, mistreating them, basically, sexual harassment, but also just abuse of the employee base, not treating the employees equally, for gender purposes and things like that. Management that knew about almost like frat style parties going down and all kinds of terrible things happening to the employees, and literally just brushing those issues under the rug, ignoring them, never disciplining the employees involved. Bobby Kotick is at the top of this. He's the CEO, and he knew about issues, and it's been concretely proven he ignored them and or hid them to make the company continue to work and not have drama around it. Okay? Activision Blizzard is getting sued out the ass from 20 different directions. The employees are suing them, the FTC is suing them, and even the state of California, all right, opened a lawsuit against them for basically workplace violations and all these issues. So this has been an ongoing investigation for about half a year, at least we've been hearing about it. But you didn't hear about the news that blew this morning. It is now being stated by a lawyer, a prosecutor, who is involved in this process against Activision Sony for the state of California, that the governor of California, his name is Governor Newsom, actively involved himself in the investigation against Activision Blizzard, essentially to get them off the hook, even though there is actual direct evidence of legal wrongdoing at the company. The head prosecutor, who is assigned to prosecute Activision Blizzard and do the investigation and hold them accountable for breaking the law, was fired by Governor Newsom during the investigation. Okay? What's being speculated here and or being actually said by this other prosecutor is that head prosecutor was doggedly going after Activision Blizzard to the biggest extent of the law because it was such a grievous violation that they'd been doing. And apparently Governor Newsom has ties to the company. Apparently Governor Newsom, all right, has some kind of a either investment or maybe they have something to do with him. And who knows what it is. We all talk all the time about lobbying in our government, how somehow corporations are entwined with the people who are in power, right? So basically, they're saying he literally said to lay off on this investigation, and the head prosecutor said, no, I refuse. Legally, I'm in the right here. So he fired her. Now, the assistant, or not assistant, but I guess they call the deputy prosecutor, has blown the whistle on the situation and gone public as of this morning, or last night, I think it was, stating all this has been going on, and literally the investigation is in shambles now, all right, because the governor destroyed the investigation. And this person resigned, said, I refuse to continue to work for a government office that's corrupt, and resigned and will not do that anymore. So now there's like no one in charge of the investigation, and Governor Newsom is left with his hands like this. Oh, oops. The whistle got blown and now I look like shit. All right. Now, is it real? Is it not? All we can do is speculate for now. Okay. We don't know the truth. I mean, what you got to do is you got to look at the situation from kind of a big picture situation. What exactly would a prosecutor have to gain by fabricating this situation? Right? This is someone who has a career in law, someone who obviously you have that's a big position, being either head prosecutor, deputy prosecutor for a state. That's one of the highest level jobs a lawyer or prosecutor can have in the United States. That's a good position to have. That's a position you want to have for life. That's a career. Big money, security, right? So why would you lie about the situation exactly? What do you have to gain to make up and fabricate a situation like that and then quit your job? It doesn't make sense at all, right? But the way I see it is you can't condemn someone until there's evidence. Is there evidence right now? All we have is hearsay. Okay? At the very same time, I would not be shocked if the whole story is true. Because as I've told you guys many times over the years, sadly, with the way our government works, our government officials literally are entwined and involved with major corporations in a giant way. This is how they fund their political campaigns. This is how, oh, well, the politician doesn't get paid a lot of money, but they were hired for a special speaking role at a major corporation that paid them like $500,000. Wait, what? They went to a fucking corporation and stood in front of the employees and talked for 30 minutes and got paid $500,000. Gee, I wonder if that could have possibly been in exchange for, if not officially, but I wonder if that could have possibly been in exchange for any kind of favoritism at any point when that person had political power. So you see, the point I'm saying is, even though our government supposedly has these safeguards in place to stop corruption, there's all these ways that people have figured out to get around it. Give actual stock in a company, these backhanded payments under the table, special privileges, all kinds of shit happen constantly. People don't become a career politician in America to be broke. All right? Doesn't happen. You become a career politician to be rich. And that's why they do it. These career politicians end up at the end of the day, somehow, even though supposedly their base pay is not big, they end up filthy rich by the time that they're out of their political positions. How? Okay? So, in regards to Governor Newsom and these accusations, I certainly don't know any evidence or anything, but I'm not shocked to hear the accusation, nor would I be shocked if it were true. It's very possible. Activision Blizzard, being one of the biggest companies in California, making tons of money, probably, all these agreements with the government there, reached out, and either they already have supported him in his campaign and his efforts to stay in power, or maybe they made him a promise, and he said, all right, I got to make this go away for you, or else you're not going to exist anymore if you get sued into oblivion in 10 different directions. And he basically tried to end the situation, fire the prosecutor. Really? The head prosecutor of your state, by the way. So, it is what it is. We will have more information. Oh, here you go. Karen G says Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State and was tasked with investigating Erickson for corruption. She absolved them, and then Bill had a speaking role at their company for $750,000 for one speech. Should I rest my case now? And say, okay, you guys know the story. Let's follow it. Let's hope we get more information about it to either corroborate or deny what's going on. But yeah, that sounds pretty fucked to me. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is another one of those situations. So let's see what happens. Okay, that's the news. Now, already we've gone late on the pre-stream, but that's because I lost 30 minutes of pre-stream because of tech difficulties. The good news here is, guys, they seem to be resolved, right? That's excellent. So let's get to shout-outs. We had Gecko9700 as well as Protusum Zone, who both became channel supporters during today's stream. I'm curious if that means that we saw an increase in channel supporters. And the thing is, I would like to check on memberships because, as you know, we were trying to hit a goal of 400 members this month. It's very important for, for our reward. And we are currently at 370. We went up 1. Okay. Better than nothing. Let's go ahead and do that. 370 and climbing. We need 30 more members by the end of this month to have the special event happen, guys. I know we can make it happen. We got over 2 weeks left. Please consider becoming a member if you're not, okay? Zoya did a super chat. So what's the last movie you and Kat watched in the cinema? I think the last time we ever went to the movies was Spider-Man Homecoming. And that was way early on in our relationship. Yeah. That was one of the dates we kind of went on, was we went to the movies and we saw that movie. Then Zoe did another super chat, says, be careful about speaking on unproven allegations. As I said, I did not say any of this is true. This is all just what's in the news now, supposed, and we don't know the truth of it yet. But I'm just, speaking from experience of knowing that this kind of corruption has gone on, has been documented in our government. It's not shocking to hear that this is an accusation or that this could be possibly true. And I want to follow the news moving forward. Okay? Okay. Rob on Wheels tipped $10 and says, this playthrough has reignited my love for all things Jedi. He's talking about the Lego Star Wars playthrough, if you're not aware. So much that this past Sunday after church, I went and I bought the entire Skywalker saga on Blu-ray. Thank you so much. I hope you like it. Personally, I saw the first movie and loved it. I saw the second movie and thought it kind of sucked. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. It just kind of was meh. But it kind of fucked up the plot lines. Some characters like John Boyega's character. I keep forgetting the character. Finn? Is it Finn? He went from being one of the main characters who looked like he was lined up to be like the hero along with Rey by the end of the franchise, by the end of the trilogy, and maybe he'd even become a Jedi. He became a joke character. He was downgraded to a subplot that had nothing to do with the plot of the movie, and he was basically comic relief. I was like, what is this shit? It's so bad. How could they fuck the movie up so bad? And then, by the end of the trilogy, apparently I've heard it was terrible. They tried to fix it, and it was garbage. But I don't know. I didn't even see it. I never saw the last movie. What I hope is that you like it. I hope that it's good. I don't know. We're gonna be playing through the game, and we're gonna get to that trilogy eventually and see. So, okay. CM Fool is to be $6.66 and says, I went to run a marathon. A guy in an Elden Ring t-shirt said, why aren't you wearing a backpack full of rocks and training weights? I told him, I'm just here to run. And he said, well, you suck. You need to get good. There you go. Well, that makes total sense. I'm sure that really happened, CM Fool. Then CM Fool also tipped me $4.20. He says, have you heard we may get Shenmue 4? The creator might do another Kickstarter so we can get the 4th chapter of 16-chapter story. The rumor is he'll announce it at whatever the E3 event is. Of course, there is no E3 anymore. So likely he'll end up just doing something at a Sony event or a similar event. Okay. Awesome. I personally cannot wait to give my hard-earned money to the Kickstarter for that one, so that we can hear more dialogue that sounds like it was said inside of a tin can, more amazing, groundbreaking hand-to-hand combat, and riveting open-world exploration and puzzles. As you know, not dated in any way, shape, or form. Truly next-gen. Okay. Guys, I did all the shout-outs. Now, since the podcast generally is actually much shorter than usual, but we are running late, I will open up for Q&A for just like 5-10 minutes tops, and then we're going to get started with Lego. But let's see if anyone has any questions or anything you'd like to talk about. I am coming back from my break, so I understand that there may be some questions or things going on. What's up, Jade? Good to see you here today. Expand Dong. No, I didn't hear Bandai Namco is partnering with Nintendo to remake Nintendo 3DS action games according to job listings. What is my guess as to what it could be? I have no idea because I don't know anything about the Bandai Namco action games that came out for the 3DS, so I have nothing to say about that. There you go. Did I comment on Kingdom Hearts 4 and am I excited? Yes, I did. That was on a pre-stream podcast from last week, and I had a big segment about it. I'm not going to reiterate what I said then because I really went into detail about my thoughts about it then. So there you go. I already played the Quiet Man CM Fool. There you go. How is my gout? It's fine. I haven't had any issues with gout in, like, years. Or what I should say is, I never had a major flare-up. When you have gout, which is a sickness where your body has an abnormally imbalanced amount of uric acid in it, basically any once in a while you could just get a flare up for no reason. You may not even be eating things or doing things that cause a flare up. You just get it anyway. And that's happened every once in a while. Every once in a while I got a sore foot for a day. But I haven't had like a major, oh my God, my foot is monstrously swollen and I'm in pain and I can't walk on it in years and years. Because I adjusted my diet to make sure that I don't eat too much of the things I'm not supposed to eat. I reduced the amount that I drink because I used to drink a ton. Since I realized I had gout, I basically cut back monstrously on that. So, there you go. Shout out to Noisy, who just did a super chat. Thank you, Noisy. Let's get that up on the leaderboard. Thank you, Noisy. Okay. Here we go. Oh, my nose. Allergies, they suck. Yesterday, one thing I didn't mention about my day off is half the day both my wife and I were sneezing because of the pollen in the air. I have the BioShock Remastered Collection Truth Seeker. I already have it. And I've already played BioShock 1 Remaster. I never played 2 because I hate it. Jad Effects, that was already a story we covered. My wife is doing well, thank you for asking, Kagame. Rob on Wheels to the $1.50 says he got all 9. Oh, you got all 9 films. I thought the Oh, so the movies of the Skywalker saga is the entire collection. Gotcha. I gotcha. I got confused there. The first 3 are great, but my concern is, can you even buy the original trilogy without the CGI shit? Because it's terrible. Everything CGI that was added in the 90s looks like shit and ruins the movies. It's just like, why the fuck is this in it? It looks terrible. And George Lucas lost his mind in the 90s. He really did. George Lucas lost his way and lost his mind in the 90s and essentially ruined his own works. And I wonder, is there any way to get him without that? And I think the answer every time I ask that is no. You still can't get it. And that pisses me off because I remember the originals. They were quite good. CM Fool to me $4.20 and asked, what is the story of Kingdom Hearts? Oh, do you really want me to go into that now? I don't know, man. I don't think I want to. I appreciate the tip, but I don't think we're going to go into that. Junko was loved. Re-up their membership for 6 months. Is ready for Star Wars. Me too. You cannot buy the unaltered films on Blu-ray at all. They don't exist on Blu-ray. Huh. Ugh. Hair. Hair in my mouth. Yuck. Only the VHS or Laserdisc versions exist unedited. Wow. 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 I mean, that's... My God. Imagine if I went back and I went to my original playthroughs, my classics, like Heavy Rain and shit like that, and I re-edited those playthroughs to have big skits and me jumping in, dancing around in costume, like I'm dressed up like the detective and I'm dressed up like Ethan. And I'm like, and I'm acting out like a moron in the middle and I'm interrupting the playthrough to have these jarring scenes that are supposed to be comedy. And but that improves the playthrough, right? Imagine the classic playthrough that everyone loves of Heavy Rain ruined by me interjecting shit in 2022 into it. That's literally what he did. Lucas said, here's classics everyone loves. Worldwide phenomenon pop culture. Let me ruin them by interjecting a bunch of dumb CGI shit that no one asked for. It's not good. Oh, really? My Ruin says the original versions were restored and remastered online, but it was via the fans. But you need to sail the 7 seas to get them. Oh my God. Wow. That's so sad. Ugh. All right, guys. Anything else? Or shall we start with Lego? Ooh. Gonna start? All right. All right, let's end the pre-stream. Sorry that the pre-stream was so off today. I don't know. The technical difficulties were annoying, but we got through them. All right. Thank you, guys, and let's get started. Okay.